Hi. I'm so sorry about the delay, everyone. I just needed to get unmuted by a host, and we were all still kind of like mesmerized in that moment after a recital. You know what I mean? Congratulations, Sienna. You didn't get to hear a round of applause, but I'm sure everyone would like to share a round of applause with you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Luke sent me a gif of Michael Scott doing his crying face when the kids and Scott's tots when they're singing to him. So,
Not Scott's Tots. That's the hardest episode. That one's really upsetting.
well, the applause was felt, the
Yes,
sentiment.
good, good, good. Oh, congratulations. This was really fantastic. So, everyone, as a reminder, you can write your questions in the chat. The chat can be accessed right at the bottom of your Zoom screen. You can write your questions and I'll ask Sienna. We're going to keep this going for probably about 15-20 minutes or however long y'all want it to go. I have a couple of questions for Sienna and I'll also ask your questions. So go ahead and pop them in the chat. So a bit about me first, because of course. I'm Carrie Ann Otaño. I'm the Vice President of Engagement with Opera Delaware out in Wilmington, and Sienna's a friend of mine from college. And we recently got to meet up over lunch here in Wilmington, Delaware. And she told me about this recital that she was putting together. Um, and before I interview Sienna, I just want to hype her up a little bit because I think this is so remarkable what she did. I think it's so thoughtful the way that she curated it. I think it shows a great deal of compassion and empathy to use your talent to help people grieve and be mindful and, yeah, deal with this world. I think it's really fantastic what you did. And I'm really, really proud of you just because you're my friend, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I have some questions that I'm going to ask Sienna. If y'all have questions for her, again, her website is Sienna Forest, 1N, 1R, SiennaForest.com. You should definitely peep that website. And I'm going to ask Sienna some of the questions that I've prepared for her. And if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Okay. Sienna, how are you feeling right now?
Good. A little like exposed, It's interesting to not have immediate feedback from an audience, so it feels a little more judgy in a way, but that also could just be like, your own influence of watching something.
That's that vulnerability, right?
Yes. Yeah. Vulnerability hangover, I believe Brene Brown calls them.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it's really important that everyone, I just want to encourage you to like let us see your faces for a quick minute and give our girl a round of applause because really this was tremendous. Really, I'm so, so proud of you. And I know everyone else um is probably off camera because they're crying, but congratulations.
Well, huge
Congratulations.
thank you to Mary Jo Gothman. I mean, she is such an incredible pianist and
Oh,
is also the most soothing and comforting person. I was saying that she and Reed Kruger are the dream team because Reed will just say very, very patiently, whenever you're ready. And he says it just like that, like an NPR voice. And meanwhile, every time we do a take, Mary Jo's like, Sienna, if it was a live performance, it wouldn't have been perfect anyway. And I'm like, okay, yes, like this is all of the energy I need to be receiving right now. It's just like
yes.
positivity and acceptance.
Yes. Well, that's so interesting because I think what's so fantastic about what you did is that you curated this recital um not based on your voice type, but based on the text and how it spoke to you,
Yes.
right? So um I think it's really interesting that vulnerability that you were talking about experiencing right now. Seeing everyone react the way that they just did, how did that make you feel,
Really
first of all?
good. So nice also to see, faces and names that, just mean a lot to me and from all different parts of my life. It's just really nice to see everybody come together. It's very sweet.
Yes, absolutely. Can you tell us a bit about how you made these selections, how you chose these pieces?
Yeah, I think we're all trying to find a way to make classical music more accessible and also more applicable in other aspects. And so in my mind, I've been turning around a lot of ideas of how do I combine, mindfulness, psychology, all of that aspect, because that's something I'm really fascinated with. That's why opera appeals to me is it's character based. You get to put
Hmm.
yourself in someone else's shoes and imagine it. And so I've always thought about like, oh, do I want to commission a piece that's also like a group meditation? And, so that's always been jumbling around in my head. And then with this Wagner grant, the whole point of it was to encourage, young professionals, which me, and also to address cultural issues and political and social issues. And I think that, mindfulness is a huge one that we all need to better understand. And then inclusiveness. I wanted to have a program that was composers from different cultures and different races and genders. And I know I can always do better, but that's when I figured, okay, I want to look specifically at this theme. And you and I both know Jackie Matava from IU. And then Seth
Mhm.
Keaton was also a local here in Minnesota, and Adriana Zabala. And they have this website called Song Helix. And it's basically an art song search engine. And you can go in and put
Yes.
in whatever you want. Like, okay, I want a female composer. I want the poetry to be about nature. And it will just populate because of these amazing educators who just go in and give of their time freely to make this resource. So that's primarily where I started. And I
Uh,
thought, okay, mindfulness, what do we have? Present moment. And I would just find synonyms to that and plug it in that engine. And then I would listen to it. And if I liked it, I would add it to a list. And if I didn't like it, then I would not put it on a list.
what a great way to approach programming. What a thoughtful way to curate. I don't know a lot of people who approach curating a recital like that, and I think it's really impressive and really cool.
Well, you mentioned too behind the scenes when we were talking, like the Wagner grant gives you the ability to
Yeah.
program whatever you want. Whereas normally in my position, we get hired to do something specifically.
Mhm.
So it's nice to have that empowerment to, combine things that I'm interested in and that I think have an impact on other people as they view it. So
Mhm. Yes, and if we were live in a theater right now, this would be the point when I would say, it's time to hype up the Wagner Society for giving you this grant, and everyone should come off camera, should come turn on their camera on and show their round of applause for the Wagner Society for doing this great program, and really letting artists curate their own storytelling, right? Because without the thoughtfulness of this curation, the way that Sienna put this program together, because she knew about this resource, because she knew about Song Helix, and because she had this passion, she was able to put this program together that maybe spoke to people in a new way, in particular because uh, how else would we access this music without someone to show us, right? And so we need that resource of a singer of your caliber with your knowledge to introduce us to music like this. And so it's really such a gift what the Wagner Society allowed you to do for us tonight.
thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, it looks like we might have a question, but I'm going to read slowly and make sure I don't say it wrong. Are Don and I the only ones who had difficulty with the subtitles or text or lyrics, whatever you want to call it? It was very sporadic and sparse, and understanding the text would have added so much to our pleasure. That said, still kudos to Sienna for putting this program together. That's a very interesting comment. Do you mean because you were reading the titles on the website while you were watching the program? Or were the titles appearing on your screen in the YouTube video? Because if they were appearing on your screen in the YouTube video, that might be a glitch, honestly, with YouTube. As someone who edits a lot of videos and really tries to make solid content, sometimes YouTube will add captions for you, and then it won't add captions all the time. So that might be why you had captions when it was in English and had no captions when it was in another language. But Sienna did put all the translations and the lyrics
And English
on
text,
her
yeah.
and the in the English text, and a really interesting like kind of blurb um, on the website. Again, sienaforest.com, 1N1R, boom. So I hope that can help. And again, you can watch the YouTube video of this. It's going to stay available because of the Wagner Society. Again, just like rounds and rounds of applause for the Wagner. We got to hype up the Wagner Society. It's going to stay. That's exactly right. Sienaforest.com. It will stay available on the YouTube and her website, right? So you can rewatch at any point. Sienna, I'd like to get back to you with another question.
Sure.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay, this one I like. This one I like. This is really fun, like interviewing someone after a recital. I love like finding out more about you and like why you did this. It's really dope. I'm proud of you, girl. Okay. Tell me, who do you hope to reach by presenting music about mindfulness? Um, uh, about presenting music and mindfulness together. What's the message that you want people to take away from tonight's performance?
So I hope kind of to reach everyone. I think that's the benefit of something existing on the internet is longevity. I mean, I was just watching videos of Maria Callas singing Costa Diva, stuff like that just endures forever. And the scope is much larger. So if it had been a live performance tonight, there may have been 50 people or something there, but now it has potential to impact people further down the line. And as far as the message I want to give them, it's probably you create your own reality in every moment through your thinking. And I wish that in school we'd been taught about our minds and understanding what are our thoughts and being able to take a step back from that and that like egoic reactivity and to be able to choose a response instead of just reacting to triggers. um, so I hope that for people who haven't maybe explored any mindfulness concepts or, Buddhism, that through watching the video, they become more curious about it. Um, because learning about mind wandering, I think we have our attention is a commodity. That's how social media, that's why social media is free, is because they're selling our attention, our time to advertisers. So they work so hard to make these apps and algorithms addictive. So being able to understand how your mind responds to those things, how it's constantly looking for stimuli, um, I think can just better serve you when you're living your daily life.
Sienna, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, I think what you're talking about is that interruption between the immediate reaction to something, the thought, the instinct, which is ingrained in us. It has to happen, right? But there's that moment between the instinct and the action. And you're talking about pausing in
Yes.
between those two things to choose, how do I want to respond in this moment? That's mindfulness. That is very profound. That is very profound. And I don't think, listen, without the gift of opera, because I'm the vice president of engagement, so I got to hype up opera at all times. Without the gift of opera, I would not have gotten to hear that very profound, cool thing from my friend Sienna. So thank you. Thank you, the opera world.
We all have our medium. For an artist, they may make, a painting that can tell you that feeling or show you that. But, for opera singers, it's through music and song. And so that's the medium through which I can communicate a deeper message. And that's the one I know. So I'll
Yeah.
spread it around.
And it just feels so important for it to be a message that you personally care about, because that speaks in the way that you curated the programming, right? Because you personally care about it, because you didn't do it for, a paycheck. I mean, obviously we all would love to get paid, artists. Mwah, we love to get paid. I love to see that. But you curated it because it was in your heart, and because it's on your mind, and it's how you think people will better experience this world. I think that that's really, again, a profound gift. I'm just here to hype you up, Sienna. Just here to
That's why
tell
you're
you how
here.
great you are.
Make me feel great. So everyone needs a Carrie Ann.
Yes, yes. Okay, so tell me, which piece from this recital, um, that you programmed yourself because you're a boss, which piece was the most challenging for you, either like vocally or emotionally? And is it the same piece that was the most rewarding, or is there a different piece that was most rewarding?
Interesting. I think the most difficult piece was Blue. Um,
Oh my God, I love Blue.
yeah, but it's for mezzos. And you mentioned that you'd sang it in a recital in college.
And I got that like husky.
Yeah, you're a spinto. You got that, that voice, the good on the bottom. But nobody pays to hear my low notes, and I have them kind of, as you all heard.
Listen, you
Um,
said that over lunch and I'm still laughing about it. She said, no one pays to hear my low
no,
G's.
no one does. But the Wagner Society does, though.
Okay, but the high notes though, but the
Yeah,
top,
yeah. So
that
I
was
guess
tasty, girl.
thank you. But yeah, so then blue was the most challenging because I felt a little bit like imposter syndrome of like there's no business for me to be singing this song.
Yeah,
Um, but
yeah.
Mary Jo was there hyping me, and she played it really well too. And I think my instinct too was to take it too slow, and she was very much encouraging, like, okay, let's push this forward a little bit, like they're, movement forward, and yeah, I'm grateful for her
I
encouragement.
love that. I love that. And the most important thing is the way that you communicated with that song, right? It's so empowering that Mary Jo hyped you up like that and participated in this collaborative process with you so that we got to experience that music from your point of view.
Yeah.
That's just invaluable.
Yeah, and I thought the lyrics just couldn't be passed up because I think that really is the whole section of mindfulness is sitting real still with you. Like that
Yes.
is the definition of like being in relationship with someone is a comfortable silence. So I think it had to be there.
Yeah, that's what we're all seeking, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's beautiful. Friends, I just want to remind you that if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. So far, we've been hanging out for about 17 minutes. It's been a cool 17. I feel like the vibes are very high, having a great time.
We've got a question from Lloyd about are there any pieces you wanted on the program but didn't feature?
Oh, I don't even see that question.
That one was at 8:25.
Oh, before my time. Oh, I got bounced out for a second. I'm so sorry. It's
Okay,
because
you're good.
I got bounced out for a second at the end of the recital. So I don't see the chat before 9 o'clock.
Got it. So yeah, Lloyd asked, are there any pieces you wanted on the program but didn't feature? Um, I wanted to do more diverse composers, but I struggled to find pieces that really fit and ones where I could find the music too. That was a big thing, and like getting rights to be able to do stuff too. But I'm also, if Mary Jo wants to jump on the chat, I'm really curious what she would have programmed if she had the impetus of a mindfulness and meditation recital. So, oh, we're getting her video. Let's see if we can get her audio.
Hi.
Okay,
Hey,
also
Mary
a round of applause.
Jo!
Another eternal round of applause. It's the unsung hero, the pianist. That's a funny joke.
Yeah.
You're not the one singing, you know what I mean? But you are singing in a way.
Well, I just thought that Siena did a brilliant job of programming this concert, and it was something that I don't think I ever would have thought about. Um, and thinking about just solo piano rep, which I don't live in all the time anymore. I mean, I have. Um, I'm inspired by Siena's programming, you know, uh, and certainly things that are a little bit more reflective come to my mind. Um, I love the French piece that we did, C'est l'Extase, the Debussy. And
Mhm.
I think so much French music really ties into mindfulness, and just being quiet and still. So I mean, I think I would have probably put a Chopin nocturne,
Yeah.
um,
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
and maybe um, if you know Ravel, second movement of Ravel piano concerto seems like it would have fit very nicely too.
Now, I don't want to lie to you and pretend like I know Ravel. Like I know Ravel, but I don't like know Ravel. Like I don't know exactly what song that is, but I feel you that Ravel would be great.
You want something good to listen to sometime. Ravel wrote two piano concertos. One is for the left hand. That's not the one I'm thinking of. It's the Ravel piano concerto in G major. The slow movement is exquisite. Just And it would fit right in with this, Sienna. Next
Oh,
time we can
perfect.
add
Yes.
some Sienna stuff too.
Good
Yes,
looking
we'll
out,
do a
Mary
live
Jo.
But
performance.
I thought Sienna just did such a brilliant job with this, and I feel like I've had a really good therapy session too, listening to her insights as she was
Absolutely.
describing them. I mean, it's really, I hope that people who are new to classical music will listen to this program too, because I think it's, when Sienna said she would like it to be for everyone, I mean, really everyone, not just us people who are already in the classical music world, but boy, it's something that anybody I think could relate to and feel moved and inspired by.
I think we need to share it far and wide. Truthfully, I'm going to share it with my people. I'm going to share it with Opera Delaware. I'm going to share it with our audience. If that's okay with the Wagner Society, I'm not sure what the rules are, but I would love to, since it's going to be available on YouTube, I would love to be able to just share it with students and, you know, honestly, our whole,
We got a
um,
thumbs up from Jim, so we're good to share. And thank
oh,
you to Kirk for sending this to your niece and nephews. And I see Kirk too had a question. How does working on art songs influence your work with Wagner's music?
Yeah,
Um,
you had one piece by Wagner.
Yes, that was a requirement of the grant. We had to have one piece at least by Wagner. And I will say I have not had that much experience with Wagner. I've been talking about him a lot in a
Mhm.
class that I've been teaching through Minnesota Opera about bel canto opera, because Wagner's the one who comes out of the bel canto tradition. So it's easier to highlight what bel canto is when compared to what it isn't.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but Wagner's music always makes me want to go deeper, because I feel like I'm only just skimming the surface of anything that he does. And especially with the Wesendonck leader, Matilda Wesendonck was the poet, and there were rumors about their potential quality of their relationship. Um, and so he also was writing those songs, the Wesendonck leader, at the time that he was writing Tristan and Isolde. And so I'm going to kind of a deep dive about that, of like, okay, where are the letters? How can we read into this? And, it's just like two people who really connect on, Gesamtkunstwerk, everything coming together for one. And what I really like too about this
Great
program,
word. Sorry, great word. I'm just going to pop that in the chat.
the
I'm not going to
gems.
pop it in the chat because I'm going to spell it wrong if I try to pop it in the chat, but I want everyone to know what that word means. Can you pop it in the chat and can you tell them what Gesamtkunstwerk means?
Yes, yeah. So that was basically Wagner's reaction to like kind of papa opera that he didn't like. He was all about, thank you, Jim. Of
Thank
course,
you,
that
Jim.
rights get in there.
Thanks, Jim.
But Wagner was basically like everything for the work, and he controlled all aspects of a production. He, built his own theater, the costumes, the lighting, the music, the libretto. It was all for the art itself. So everything was serving itself. I mean, we're talking about the Daughter of the Regiment, which is going to be at Minnesota Opera, and my dear partner in crime, Marcia Obano, is always saying, it's an opera, just go with it, because it's all of this happenstance. Like, oh, this woman happens to be Marie's aunt, and then oh, they happen to have this letter that was found on the baby. It's just
Yes.
all of these things that are just what. But then Wagner really has such deep consideration for everything in the music. So you can go deep with it. And that's something that I really, really enjoy about it. And it brings me back, because I know, for Mary Jo, some of these pieces, like The Thought, it was just like, okay, chord, 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 done. And then we get to the Wagner, and it's just, okay, I'll follow you, Mary Jo. Bring me home.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool to see like the passion with which you're talking about this because you're so well researched on it and you care about it so much. And I just like love interviewing you about this.
Aw.
This is really cool.
Mary Jo, what do you have to say about playing Wagner? Is that influence other types of music that you play?
That's a really interesting question. I don't think so. I mean, no more or less so than any other music does.
Hmm.
But I certainly, and I said to Sienna when we were working on that, I mean, a tiny bit of Wagner, and it's so obviously Wagner. To me, that song reminded me of Albrecht in Das Rheingold, I mean, just the patter of the language, and um, I think the piano writing is very orchestral, and that's not unique to Wagner, but certainly in that song, it was very orchestral writing. Um, and it's fun to get to do some Wagner with Siena, who I wouldn't normally think of as a Wagnerian singer. So it's fun to have those art songs to be
Yes,
able to.
to get to explore that type of music, right?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, listen, thank you so much, Mary Jo. We are at, I'm doing a little quick math in my head. I was never great at that, and I'm not good at it when I'm put on the spot. 26 minutes. So I think we should close out maybe in the next 4 minutes and just give it a 30-minute Q&A. So if anybody has any last minute questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. I'm going to put Siena's email address one more time. Nope, email address, Siena's website in the chat one more time. If you guys want to check out more about Siena. And again, just congratulations, Siena. I think it was really tremendous. Is there anything else you want to share with us in the closing minutes?
Oh man, I do have a mailing list, and recently through the Minnesota State Arts Board, I was given a grant with Wendy Derwachter, and we are going to be writing an opera together that'll be set in a restaurant. So it'll be a little chamber opera. It'll be my first stint as a librettist, and I've already reached out to friends to help me. But yeah, if you want to stay up to date with that and other performance things that I have going on, you can join that list. And believe me, I do not send too many emails. So I believe there were 6 months in between my last two. So yeah, that's a way to keep up to date if you want to follow stuff that I'm up to.
Excellent. Excellent.
And then plug here too for Mary Jo has an organization called Joya, and it's through her church up at Anoka, Zion Lutheran, and she programs these wonderful chamber recitals. So I would definitely recommend you check those out because anytime Mary Jo plays, you are legit blessed. So
What a lovely thing to say.
Thank you.
So wonderful for you two to collaborate like this.
oh yeah, anytime. I'm gonna make Mary Jo do something like this again. And we've talked about having a hot tub party, so that's what I'm really excited about.
Must happen. So I will also just in the closing 2 minutes plug that if you want to take a trip out to Delaware, if you're feeling that type of way and you want to come visit your friend Carrie Ann, who you just met tonight for the first time, we are doing the opera La Traviata on March 31st and April 2nd. And on March 31st, I'm in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm just like going to do a quick pitch. If that's terrible. Is that okay?
Do it.
Okay. On March 31st, we're having a mini gala before the production starts, where we're going to do 2 hours of competitive poker. And at the end of that 2 hour period, the top prize winner will get $1,000, second place 500, third place 250. It's a fundraiser, so the buy-in is between $200 and $250, but you can also spend $100 and just get a ticket to the show and come to the gala as a little bonus thing. So it's just a really fun opportunity to kind of mix and mingle with people like we got to do tonight. And I had a wonderful time. And thank you so much, Sienna, for asking me to do this. I really had
Yeah.
a great time getting to hype you up and promote you for these. I'm really, really impressed. I'm really proud of you.
Thanks, I appreciate it. And I got to learn how to count some cards because I got to win $1,000.
I'm saying, yes, you let me know. I'll sneak you in on the cheap, but I'm going to need you to give me a little bit of coin because it is a
Okay.
fundraiser,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll hook you up. Can I sing my way in, you know?
Yeah, I'm saying, right? Yeah, it's going to be really fun. And I think we're going to be able to host like 200 people for the event
Wow.
between we're going to have about 40 people playing poker. And then we're expecting to have maybe like another 150 or so to just kind of hang and have drinks and snackies and have
Nice.
like a kind of a mixer before the opera. And then we'll
Next
see
time,
La
my
Traviata
grant will
together.
include that. My grant's going to include that next time. So,
Yes, put it in the budget. Put a budget liner for poker games, for
yep.
champagne,
Yep.
for mixers. I mean, this was really fun to get to do this online.
Yeah.
I'm
Especially
glad
when
that we
it's
were
like
able to
3
connect.
degrees here. It's hard to get me out of the house when it's cold.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you all so much for being with us tonight. And thank you again, Sienna. Thank you, Mary Jo. This was really, really fantastic. Thank you to the Wagner Society for hosting us. It was really such a pleasure to be with you all. I hope you had a great time. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you felt something tonight. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.